So we have here the NCAA Women's College Volleyball Bracketology predictions for the first one of the season. Charlie Cream for ESPN. He does bracketology predictions for women's basketball throughout the season. And then, before the preseason, and how he does before the during certain parts of the season. More often because they do top 16 updates. And women's volleyball, they don't, it's kind of hard, when they don't do top 16. I mean, maybe preseason polls you could do for small conferences. But it's hard, Otherwise, it's hard, they said who can get who is in, who's out. I mean, maybe some of the teams are guaranteed in, but it's just hard, So this one you have a more clearer picture, and we're gonna talk about it. So let's go. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it and break it down. So the number 1 seeds, it is 31 at large automatic bids with the Pac-12. But next year the Pac-12 will get for 22nd. So we 32 automatic bids, 32 at large. And first and second round host the top 4 seeds in each. Top 4. If you're a 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed, you're a host. And then if you host the 3rd and 4th round, the top 2 remaining seeds in your little quarter of the bracket will host the 3rd round in the quarterfinals. So, and number 1 seed. Let's actually take a look at the Bracketology. So, Nebraska is the number 1 overall seed, as they haven't lost a set since the first seed, which is obvious. Nebraska's swept, they just came off a sweep of Purdue. So really, really dominant team. Texas has not lost a match. They're clear number 2. They're not as dominant as Nebraska's, but they're still really dominant. And then Louisville and Pitt, there's number 1 seeds. And they play at 1 p.m. on ESPN. So the winner of that, the loser might follow a 2 seed, or who's, and then Kentucky. And then Kentucky's on the 2 seed, so if they split, it could be 1 seeds. If one team wins 2, the other team gets a sweep, One team's 2 set wins both matches. Rematch on 26th of November. Because the ACC does not do conference tournament play, as the Big 10 or Big 12. In the West Coast Conference, they don't do conference tournament for any conference tournaments. The Big so the SEC is starting to do so. Power conferences might bring the conference tournaments. They might have the conference tournaments. Yeah. So, and then Louisville has to play SMU on Friday night. So, that's going to be really tough playing a Friday night SMU match. And then playing on. And then Louisville. So that's tough. So, let's go. We have the number 1 seed. There's Nebraska, Texas, Pitt, and this is in order from the number 1 seed. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have Kentucky, SMU, Arizona State, Stanford, Indiana, Miami, Purdue, Minnesota. Even though Indiana is a really solid team, they're only 22nd at ABCA poll. But Indiana has been really surprising. They they've been really dominant this season. And a big win So Minnesota has lost a couple in conference play, but they're still really solid school. A really solid team in women's volleyball. In women's college volleyball, they're still a really solid team, so you can't complain right there. You really can't, because just because you fell in a couple times doesn't mean you're a solid team. They still got tons of opportunities to prove themselves and keep that resume up. So, and then Crane is a 4 seed. Wisconsin, TCU, Texas A&M, and for Minnesota be one of the teams in that 3 line. Other outside of Nebraska, be the team second in the Big 10 outside of I guess it's Indiana, but still being ahead of like Wisconsin, Penn State. Like, you see some of those like marquee powerhouses in Big 10 women's volleyball. That is just crazy. It's hard to believe. Usually it's Penn State, Wisconsin ahead, and Indiana is being ahead of Purdue even. Purdue is a good one, so no, that's insane. And we have 5 seeds: BYU, Illinois, Penn State, UCI. 6 seeds go to Kansas State, Cincinnati, Marquette, and Baylor. 7 seeds: Tennessee, Kansas, USC, and Utah. Utah is a very dominant team. They've had some good wins in the non-conference schedule. They beat Liberty twice, and they swept Liberty both times in the conference season. And if they meet, they might. And if they play when they play Western Kentucky, they'll play Western Kentucky. So they'll have, and Western Kentucky has been on like certain years have been in like NCAA tournaments, have been as like automatic qualifiers, and they've received votes in the polls. I remember I think it was either last year or was a couple years ago. They were top 25, like 24th. So, and then you have Michigan State, North Carolina as 8 seeds. That does not surprise me. Michigan has a big win over Minnesota, and then Colorado has some big wins. They just got another big win over Utah. But even though Utah is 1-5 only, struggling though this season, Utah has still a good win though for North Carolina is on the outside, kind of on the edge of the top 25, inside 55 on the edge. South Dakota State with a 9 seed. Iowa State is Xavier in Florida. So Xavier's shown why they're a really good team. They got a really solid overall record. And so is South Dakota State. West Virginia is a 10 seed. West Virginia was undefeated in the conference, but not so hot looking in conference play. But they got that big signature win over BYU. We got Mississippi State, Western Kentucky, San Diego. That's what I mean, Western Kentucky. San Diego is a solid program. Before, And then we got 11 seeds: Tulsa, Iowa, UCF Dean. That loss that hurts Iowa is the Southeast Missouri State game. They lost to Southeast Missouri State when Iowa did, and they were unbeaten. Iowa was unbeaten. Southeast Missouri State knocked them from the unbeaten. And then we have 12 seeds: Ball State, Colgate, Townsend, Coastal Carolina. Townsend is a really solid team though. Their conference might not be the top conference or in the top mid-major, but they're still like really solid. It's really a solid team. Only 2 losses in the year, so into today. Then we have State of Austin, Utah, UC Davis, Utah Tech, Fairfield, Wright State, Jaguar, ETSU, Cornell, 14th, 15th, San Diego State, Weber State, Coppin State, and UMBC, USCF State, St. Francis, Prairie View Union. These are all like automatic qualifiers.